Hello and welcome back to another edition of Welcome to the Industry. I'm your host, Big DeeMo, and you know that we are hanging out under the New York Underground Radio umbrella. Today, I have a guest. Today, I'm back in Canada. I love Canada, man, and there's a lot of good spitters out there. But today, my guest, my man is taking high shows, low shows, whatever he could do to spread his name. This man is bringing back that energy on stage that reminds you of like Onyx. Like he's spitting rap, but he's gonna stage dive on you if you ain't paying attention. My man is out here. He got the street knowledge, and he happens to be a 5%er. Also, he's squeezing his ways with some of the biggest names in underground hip hop right now and connecting with shows. Let's introduce my guest, Hardbody Dreams. What's up, Hardbody?
Peace, DeeMo. How you feeling, baby? How you feeling?
Man, we're alive and we're well, and God is good, man.
Mmm. All
So,
praises to.
yes, sir. My thing is, so you got connected with some other artists that are burning up right now too. You guys all got this system going where you're catching a lot of attention. So we'll connect with that a little bit later, about how that happened with the show you guys got coming up. But
Mhm.
let's get into it, my man. I want people to know about your story. You got an interesting story. So you're getting ready. Let's go back to when you're young, right? So you're getting ready to commit to writing to your first beat, right? That the first song that makes you want to try to write your first song. What beat is it, and what was going through your mind?
Man, honestly, I started freestyling before I ever wrote my first song. And so I started freestyling probably I was like around 13 with my cousin Browns, and he would beatbox, and we would just, over here we called them pom-poms. We would, what I'm saying? So we would just slash open the tobacco, gut that, and then put the chronic in there, right? And then we would just smoke. We play ball and then go smoke, right? And he would just start beatboxing, and I really started to develop my flow. And around this time, I was listening to a lot of DMX, right? So you could say that kind of he influenced me as far as like I listened to a lot of different artists, and in my household, there's a lot of West Coast. You know what I mean? There's a bit of East Coast, but there's a lot of West Coast. You know what I mean, bro? Like a lot of Pac, a lot of Dog Pound, um, West Side Connection, but also dealing with like the funk. You know what I mean? George Clinton. I had a lot of Parliament in my house being played. So I come from a very musical background already, in my family, but I was really introduced to that to the funk, right? Um, so when I used to spit, it was kind of more West Coast, but as I got older, now kind of fast forwarding into the teens, right? Like I listened to a lot of East Coast, right? And a lot of K Slay, a lot of the mixtapes that were coming out. And so it was really kind of inherent like in me. You know what I'm saying? It was like really in me already, right?
Absolutely.
And so I would go and I would just go to house parties. Um, and over here in the West Side, I grew up in the East Side, but here in the West Side, that's more like your yuppie neighborhoods where all the rich people, all the rich kids were, right? So we go
I
over
guess
there,
it's
crash the
Vancouver, right?
yeah,
Vancouver.
in Vancouver. And we go crash the parties, I would just battle kids, right, and just annihilate them because I was just so aggressive, and they never seen nothing like that, right? And and so, but to answer the question, the first, I mean, the first beat that I ever wrote to, I can't even remember the name of it, but it was from my bro who he goes by I don't know if he still raps, but he goes by T Loke, and that was the first song I ever did with was in one of it was a feature on one of his songs, and it was at in his basement, and yeah, when I was, it's funny because it's like I could spit freestyle and still have my self style wisdom, but when it came to writing a song, right, and then delivering it without it not sounding like I'm reading from a paper, that I had to develop over time. But it wouldn't take me that long. But yeah, um, but the beat that I really loved spitting to back then was Biggie's "Who Shot Ya."
Okay. Okay. And yeah, no, I think especially coming from a freestyle background myself, I think that happens to a lot of us who freestyle, right? It takes a while to sound like we're not reading from paper because we're used to carrying our own melodies and, you know,
Yeah,
putting off on our own cadence, or, when there's no real drum pattern, you can take it a lot of ways in the middle of the air, right? Uh,
indeed,
but yeah, it sounds like, your namesake, right? Hardbody. Uh, Based on what you're saying, the type of West Coast you're listening to in DMX, that's all the hard body stuff, right? And so
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like, but and here's the thing, bro. It's like you could throw on a West Coast beat and I'll chop it up, no problem. You know what I'm
got
saying?
you.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm very versatile. You know what I mean? I often say, like, even if I
got that.
was to step into the trap lane right now, I would still murder that shit. You know what I mean? Like, cause there was a point in time where that's what I was listening to, right? And I was like, I had these periods in which um I'm a traveler. I travel through the universe, so just bear with me, right? But for example, um like there was a certain period in my life where I was just rapping on trap, you know what I mean? And whatever my circumstances were at the time and the environment that I was in, that's where I was, right? But I always had the, you know, I had I had an understanding of like hip hop. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, and I'm not saying trap is not hip hop. I'm saying it's a genre of hip hop. However, I'm talking about the hip hop, right? Like the foundations, right? Um, and really dealing with that boom bap, right? So,
Got you.
but where I was going was when people say when people talk about artist development, right? It's not like, yo, you can go to school and and be an artist, a developed artist in like 12-month period. You know what I'm saying? Like where I'm at today, it has I've traveled through many different galaxies to get to where I am right now. You know what I mean? And that just came with my own um experiences in life, right? And I had a mentor who my brother, shout out to Guilty Black, you know what I mean? That's my he the OG, right? And he really guided me into like subject matter, you know what I'm saying? And being able to think outside of, just that street, right? Because I know how to use my words.
Come
And I
on.
know that, even for artists to even get out of the filler words like nigga, fuck, bitch, like those things. If you can even get out of that, you gonna do well, right? So he always told me you got to think stadium, right? Not just for your block. You got to think stadium. You got to think global, right? Worldly. Or is your music gonna be able to be played where there's youth running around, right? Are you know
That's a
what I'm
big one.
saying? Like,
That's
can
a
you
big one.
go? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I wanna yeah, I wanted to stress that like artist development, it takes time, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And shout out to discussing dimensional shifts. That's a deep conversation all in its own. Uh, that I
Yes.
travel the galaxies, I believe you.
Yeah,
Um,
bro.
let's briefly touch on that while we're touching on the music part so much. Is how does that correspond? Like you have a radio show that you produce, right? That you're on, and is that kicked out just in Vancouver, or does it have some spread?
So it is so yeah, it's in Vancouver. It's in Burnaby, which is it's like it's a city beside Vancouver. So and it's on a university, right? It broadcasts in Burnaby. It's on 90.1 FM. And I've been doing that show for just over a year now. And it it's it's on the radio, right? It's local, right? And it travels a little bit outside of Vancouver, um, on the radio with depending on the frequency and whatnot, right? But I got a lot of I got people listening in because you can listen on online as well, right? You can stream it live online. And so I've been able to interview other artists in Toronto, Montreal, one brother who's really dope, and he's a OG, right? And he goes by J Scott the Illest, and he's a fire MC, bro. Like I highly recommend him, man. Like we got to interview him, and he's in Atlanta right now, but he's from New Jersey, right? And and so it is spreading. You know what I mean? It's definitely spreading. Especially when I go live on Instagram, people, they tap in, right? So that is for me as an artist is crazy because I just called the radio striving to get my music on the radio, and they told me they was like, well, we're looking for somebody to host a hip hop show because it's lacking, right? And so again, my OG was like, bro, like he started out doing that too, right? And really did something for the city here back in the 90s, right? And how being it on the radio, you have your position to control the market, you know what I'm saying, to a certain degree, right? And
Yeah, absolutely.
because it's underground, you know you can play things that you ain't gonna hear on the mainstream, right?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
so yeah, so that's been a blessing for sure. You know what I mean? And just being able to like interview so many different artists, interview entrepreneurs. I got to interview, or we got to interview um the world pardon myself, the Canadian heavyweight boxing champion. He goes by Jay Byard, brother from Nova Scotia, black man. You know what I'm saying? And he did 25 years in the pen. You know what I mean? And he got a crazy story. You know what I'm saying? Crazy story, right? So the platform is really like, it's not just for me. It's about elevating the community, right? And especially for Black people, man. Like, we have a history here in Vancouver that a lot of people don't know, and so it's been a pleasure for me to be able to manifest that to the community.
Hey, awesome. That's a very detailed situation. Because it's different for everybody. It's different
Hmm.
for everybody and what you can do. And that's kind of like us, like a lot of the stuff when we were coming up, building up New York Underground
Yeah,
was we were able to do and play a lot of the stuff you wouldn't hear in the mainstream. So that gives you a piece of your identity as far as that.
indeed.
And speaking of identity, explain your namesake, Hardbody Dreams. How does that come about?
Yeah, so hard body is represents the resilience, man. It represents turning the darkness into light. It really represents my own trials and tribulations that I've been able to overcome. And the dreams aspect of it is bringing my dreams into reality, right? Um when you tap into yourself, right? When you tap into your highest self, you're able to really take what happens in a dream. Like maybe some people are like, oh, that's woo woo, but if you think it's woo woo, it's because you just don't have the knowledge of it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of things can be interpreted in your dreams through your subconscious mind, right? And so if you are aware of those things, you can get quote unquote signs from the highest version of yourself on what to do and what not to do, right? But also the fact that I have an imagination which is infinite, right? And so with the controlled imagination, you can make that into reality. A lot of times people tell you that your imagination is just your imagination, and that's what those who are in power want you to think, right?
Right.
Because they don't want you to think and grow rich. like my nigga Napoleon Hill. You know what I'm saying? They
Come
don't
on.
want you to
Come on.
they don't want you to use that because it's this, right? It's
Yeah,
this which creates all things, right? It's the mind. You know what I mean? We living in a projection of everybody else's mind, right? So at the end of the day, it's like I'm gonna use this because it's infinite, right? And if it's controlled, it can come into reality. So that's that's the manifestation of my name.
that's amazing, and I like it because we can really dive into the whole energy side of why the mind can do so much.
Hmm.
But yeah, um, so doing a little bit of research, you teach the youth hip hop, man. What's that like?
Oh man, it's I mean, what is it's it's one of my purposes, G. Honestly, it's one of my purposes, bro. Like if you make it out of, if you're able to make it out of the streets and become somebody who's, righteous or positive, and you can give that back to the youth, man, it's just a feeling that you have. It's a feeling that's undescribable until you actually experience it. You know what I mean? Because for me, it's all about. It ain't about. It's not. It's not about what I can get. You know what I mean? I deal in supreme equality. It's about what I can share and what we can both share, what we both can collaborate on, what we can both manifest, right? So if I know that I'm a supreme MC, if I could teach the youth how to be supreme MCs and teach them, civilization, righteousness, and if they want the knowledge of themselves, bro, we have a whole revolution. You know what I mean? And our because the youth are the future, right? It's
Absolutely.
so we the OGs now, right? So it's my duty, right, as a civilized man to show and prove that there is a better way to live life, right? And if you are out there, if you are outside, if you out there in the field, like bro, you don't have to do that. You can do it. Like when you think about KRS, you know what I mean? And make going to UNESCO and making hip hop an actual motherfucking nation, bro. Like hip hop, the culture of hip hop, what it can do for a person, right? And what and if their intentions are pure, then it's like, what can they do for the culture? You know what I'm saying? How can they manifest their self-style wisdom in the culture of hip hop, right? Because hip hop is the vehicle for liberation. You know what I'm saying? And revolution, right? So
Nailed it.
when I'm there and I'm teaching these young boys, like, yo, how what the difference between an MC and a rapper is. You know what I'm saying? When I'm taking them back to the history of 1520 Cedric Avenue, when I'm showing and proving these different, like, the things that you like, if you come into this game, you got to know the history, right?
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think that there's a
Look.
lot of youth that don't know the history, right? And because we live in this era of Instagram and TikTok. You know what I'm saying? And niggas
Yeah.
can just blow up off of fucking TikTok, right? And
No
like
doubt.
it's like where in a time you had to get vouched for, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Something like that.
right, right. And
And
it's and I'm not look, I'm not hating on nobody. Like, yo, get your bag, do whatever you got to do, right? Like this is the era, right?
no, but look, it's like the kids who wear the like I ran into a kid, he had a Nirvana shirt, and I was like, yeah, Nirvana. What's your favorite jam? He's like, oh, I don't really listen to them. Oh, you got a Nirvana shirt on though. They don't really be
Right?
knowing, right?
Right, right, right. Do you even know what nirvana even means? You know what I
Right,
mean? That's the state of detachment. You know what I
right.
mean? That's a Buddhist thing. That's a Buddhist thing, right? So it's yeah, bro. It's just like there's a lot of things that just become trends and it's like, oh, that's cool, but they don't really have the knowledge around it, right? And look, I don't know everything about hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge is infinite, bro. You know what I mean? I don't got enough time in the day to know everything about hip hop, but I will learn about the foundational things, right? Because really,
Fair.
when you learn the foundational things, now you can express that knowledge through your wisdom because you understand what's going on. You know what I mean? And now it's like like if you're able to go back and like study um these male and female MCs, you can really see where everybody got their whole style from, right? Or bits and pieces of it, right? So yeah, bro, it's an amazing feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, congratulations on that, dude. Like that's big. I remember living in Utah for a year, and that's basically what my job was. Like, it was more on the kids. They were in the hip hop, but like the dance. So
Okay.
explaining break dancing and where all that comes from, and then opened up to what graffiti writers were and all. Like
Yeah.
if the kids wanted more knowledge, they're like, all this came from this, and this is why we could do this now. Like, yeah, man, and
Yeah.
it's really cool. So here's a question that everybody answers differently, and I enjoy hearing it as cliche as it is. I just enjoy hearing people's answers. But
Top five.
your top five dead or alive.
Top five dead or alive. Oh man.
Some people are always like ready to shoot it down, and some people are like, "Man, I gotta think." There's so many people I appreciate, or it's always hard because it's top five dead or alive MCs. That could be a lot of different genres.
Yeah, bro. I don't really have a top five dead or alive. I would say that I could list those who inspire me. Um, I would say I would I'll just I'll rephrase yeah. Let me twist it a little bit. So if I had only if I had only two albums I could listen to for the
Okay,
rest of my life,
okay,
it would be Illmatic and The Infamous.
wow.
Those are my two,
Just both, pick a day and put them on repeat, or that could be your playlist for the whole day.
bro.
They're two
I'm
great albums. Don't get it
I'm
twisted. Those are two of the greatest albums of all time.
yo. I mean, like those, yeah, bro. And because there's a lot of other artists that I like. Yeah, bro. I'm like those are my two, bro. Those are my two, man.
That explains it all right there.
Yo, bro, I like, come on, man. The temperature's rising, and it's not surprise. Yo, bro, and then like, and because I read Prodigy's book, bro, and then like, and it makes it all come to life. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
likewise, likewise. That was a good read.
yeah, bro, like it makes it all come to life. I'm like, bro, and I know some niggas is mad about that book, and because he went into too much detail with certain
He jumped
things.
off the deep end big time.
Right? Like I know, I understand, and I'm sure
I
there's
get
some
it.
statute of limitation behind that shit too, right? But I'm sure in some niggas' eyes, it's like a rat is a rat, right? So I'm not saying Prodigy is a rat. I'm
But
not saying that.
he gave a lot of, he Bruce Lee'd it.
Yeah,
He
he Bruce Lee'd it, right? He
gave us
did.
too much info.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But hands down, Illmatic, the infamous, and and
Give us a group one.
a group one. I only man, I wouldn't even say that I necessarily have a group one, bro. Like I would say,
No Wu Tang or
I mean, Okay. Oh yeah, but yeah, 36 chambers. Yeah. Okay. Well then, yeah, I'm gonna go with Wu-Tang Forever. That's what I'm gonna go with, the double disc joint. You know what I
Come
mean?
on, man. That was a great, like you, that
Yeah,
by
yeah, yeah,
itself,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
album
yeah,
by
yeah.
itself, you could just keep playing, 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 playing. Like beat, the knowledge, everything was crazy in that double disc.
Oh man, I like yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's my top. That's my top three. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's my
fair.
top three. But then
That's
like
fair.
I grew up in the, like, bro, like, listen though, but still like I'm 37, so my era, bro, was like 52, man. You know what I mean? Like G Unit. You know what I mean? Like Beg for Mercy, right? Like like, you know, if I'm gonna take it back to my inner child, you know what I mean? Like, walk with me, footprints. Like, bro, I'm telling you, man, when that, oh man, Buck, like that was also a, you know what I mean? I hold that era close, you know what I mean? Dipset, you know what I mean? Like when fucking Cam and the Diplomats came out, I was all on that, right? Dipset, Dipset, shit, like, you know what I'm saying? So I can't really just be like, yo, I got a top five, because each, like, all these artists played a significant part in my life at certain points in my life. You feel me?
Yeah,
Bone
yeah.
Thugs.
That's an
Dear
answer.
Mr. Ouija, can you please tell me my future? Will I die a bloody murder? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm telling you, bro.
I feel it, man. I like it. I like it. That's good energy and a good
Mhm.
appreciation for a lot of decades of great music.
Indeed, indeed.
So tell us, man, what's next for Hardbody Dreams? What do you got coming up?
Yeah, man. So we got the R-rated Ruggedman show. Um,
All
that's on
right.
November 19th at the Red Room. Looking forward to that. Um, Last year we actually did premiere Method Man and Redman when they came, and that was super fire as well. That was just, yeah, that was super amazing. You know what I mean? Um right now, like, I just dropped my latest album, Allah's Illustrious, and that album was taking, people through the journey of knowledge of self, and that was produced by my brother out here, Curb the Kid. Shout out to Curb the Kid, fire producer. And I'm working with another brother of mine, Bubs, and I got my young gods, my proteges that I've been really mentoring through this craft, right? And I'm so excited to watch him, King Wise. He's such a wise young brother. He's only 22, you know what I mean? But he's very wise, and his style is very, it's original. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't he don't sound like nobody else. You know what I mean? And he's half Ghanaian, half Japanese, right? So he be able to do that dual angle. You know what I'm saying? And um
Sounds like it's gonna be fire.
yeah, bro, he's yeah, man. That's my brother. So I got a bunch of projects, bro. I got so much in the chamber, and I'm really, at one point it was kind of like, how Spotify allowed artists to just saturate the game, right? Um and who that calling me? Oh, I'll answer that after. Um you still there, right?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, okay. Um I was just getting a call. But yeah, as far as even who I would like model my strategy, it would be Griselda, because they really they kept putting out fire music, you know what I'm saying? And project after project. And I think that if you got that A1 Perico when it comes to your music, then yeah, to put it out, right? Put it out. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm really modeling that their method, and we're gonna see where it goes, right? Um, but I'm building, bro. You know what I mean? Looking at going to Europe and getting some festivals out there, and just really building my
Definitely
brand.
fire.
Pardon?
Europe's a good time. Europe's a good time.
Yeah, that's what I hear. And that's what I see. They love that boom bap out there, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Be careful. It's a good time. Be careful. That's cool, man. Yeah, yeah. Be careful, brother. Asia's a fun one too, like Japan as well. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
He should be careful. What do I gotta watch out for, man? You better
Just,
DM me and let me know.
just make sure you show up to your set times. You could lose a whole day just trying to, you know, get unfun. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah. Um, So yeah, with that, you got the RA show, you got projects about to drop. You're still working with the youth. You're diving more deeper into yourself, doing your 5% thing, and bless you for that. And you got a lot of stuff going on. You got some headway going with yourself. Plug us up into all your social medias, man.
Indeed, man. So you can find me on Instagram, HBD the God 888. You can find me on Hardbody Dreams on Facebook, Hardbody Dreams, the real Hardbody Dreams on TikTok, and definitely on all the DSPs as well. Um, Anything else I'm missing? Oh man, yeah, just tap in with the one order 6 o'clock blitz. You can go to the cjsf.ca website, go to the programs. We every Wednesdays from 6 to 8 p.m., 2 hour show. In fact, tonight we have our fund drive for the station. So um this I guess it's not live, right? This won't be live, but just tap in with us, man. Every Wednesdays from 6 to 8 p.m. And yeah, bro, I'm just, and if, hey, look, man, I'm always looking to interview artists too, man. So, plug in with me, bro. Tap in with me, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I always want to be able to help other artists get exposure too. You know what I mean? Like I said, this ain't just for me, it's for everybody when it comes to that platform. So,
Well, absolutely, man. Listen, I want to thank you for your time. I know you're working hard getting ready for this show. It's going to be an unbelievable one, I think, because you're with some good company. I know you
mhm.
and shout out Cassette. You and Cassette are on that bill.
Yeah,
That's
shout out to
that's
Cassette, man. Shout out to
that's real.
Cassette for putting this together, linking me with Big DeeMo, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm glad she did that, especially when I got word that we were uncapping the season and we could do as much. So we're definitely going to catch a part two,
Okay.
in a few weeks to see how everything went and
Okay.
to catch up with you and see what's going on. But I just want to thank you for your time and another edition of Welcome to the Industry. That's Hardbody Dreams. I'm your host, Big Demo, and that's the show, baby. Anything you want to leave the fans with?
Hey man, look, man. When I say peace, the acronym for peace is positive education always corrects error. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to this thing called hip hop, just make sure you expressing it in the right way, man. Because as MCs, um, we metaphysicists, right? And we take what we think and what we speak and we bring it into existence. And it's very important that we show and prove that to the youth, right? Because the youth, maybe they understand, maybe they don't, right? And so, man, hip hop is that higher internal power, right? Healing our people. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
So live that culture, baby. You know what I'm saying? All the way. Peace.
that's what it is. Well, thank you, sir. We're going to catch you on the flip side, and blessings to everybody out there watching.
Indeed. Peace, Big Demo. Appreciate you, bro.